This year's Broncos draft class has drawn a lot of mixed reviews, but there is one pick in particular that has jumped out to me as maybe Sean Payton's, I wouldn't say favorite pick, but sleeper pick, given his history with having a little bit of success finding guys in college basketball to play tight end for him. I'm talking about the last pick in the draft for Denver, which was round 7 tight end Caleb Lohner. So we're going to talk about this being maybe the next Jimmy Graham in a Sean Payton offense, because Lohner comes out of Utah with some college basketball experience and some college football experience. So first off, he played three different teams in college for his basketball career, starting off at BYU, transferring to Baylor, and then going back to the Beehive State playing for Utah. And for the Utes last year, he played football and basketball on the gridiron, 4 grabs, 54 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But if you don't know, Jimmy Graham, who we all know as a tight end, was better known as a college basketball player for Miami. He played both sports at the U. He was a very successful college basketball player. He only played 1 season, if I remember correctly, of college football. And now that 1 season showcased plenty of potential, enough potential for Payton to take a big gamble on a guy, taking him in round 3 of the 2010 NFL Draft. It obviously paid off great. Graham, a 5-time Pro Bowler in his career, 3 times with the Saints, and a All-Pro selection as well. So is Lohner the next Jimmy Graham for Sean Payton? I actually kind of want to blow my brains out for just saying that out loud, because we've spent so much time just ever since Payton got here. 50, 60, 70% of all free agents and draft targets have been completely just predicated around, could this be the next blank for Sean Payton? And I'm guilty of that. I'm not trying to say I'm above that, right? But we're always constantly looking for the next Taysom Hill, the next Joker, the next Alvin Kamara, now the next Jimmy Graham. I think we just have to some point, and myself included, leave the past in the past, and maybe Sean Payton is just looking for good football players, and we can stop this never-ending quest to recreate the teams he built in New Orleans. But if you do want to believe this is the next Jimmy Graham, there are a lot of similarities, right? I mean, for starters, they both played college basketball and football. Lohner's last year for the Utes, he played in 22 games on the hardwood, 2.8 points per game, averaging a little under 10 minutes per game, which compared to Graham, not as much, who started 9 games for the Hurricanes his final season down in Miami, and he played twice as much, right? He averaged a little over 18 minutes per game. He had more success on the football field as well in the fall. I mean, not vastly more, but more yards, more receptions, more touchdowns. So I think it's a little bit bold to just assume, hey, Denver's got, or Sean Payton's got their next Jimmy Graham. No, I think Sean Payton may have a little bit of success of looking for college basketball players that can translate well to football when it comes to the red zone. But I'm not going to stand here and tell you guys, yeah, Caleb Lohner, you're going to be a 5-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro. Let's back up a little bit on that front. But it is, I wouldn't say common, but not too uncommon to find success with guys that played college basketball and then made a career in the NFL. I would say most notably was Antonio Gates. I mean, Tony Gonzalez quietly did it as well. Jimmy Graham, of course, like we mentioned, Mo Alley Cox, and Donovan McNabb. So Lohner, if he has a nice NFL career, would be the 6th most notable player that I can come up with in recent memory to make that jump from playing in March Madness to playing, on Sundays. Lohner, though, we'll find out what he's made of when training camp gets here, because Denver could use some extra help in the tight end room. I know on one hand it looks way better since Evan Ingram is smiling at you right now. If Evan Ingram gets injured, which I don't want to wish that out there, put that on the universe, but he did miss half of last year, so I think we would be a little naive to just completely disregard the possibility of an injury. If that happens, Denver's tight end room is right back to where it was last year, with Adam Trautman and Lucas Kroll and Nate Atkins as your top 3 targets. No offense to those guys, but from a production standpoint, that was the worst tight end room in the National Football League last year. I mean, not just in 2024, almost historically bad as well. So hopefully Lohner can bring a little bit more juice to the room, because I am one Evan Ingram ankle or knee twist away from having a bitch fit because we're back to where we started with 3 tight ends that can barely get the ball down the field. So which rookie do you think is going to have the biggest impact for Denver in 2025? Is it going to be the 7th round pick or the punter? I was looking at some punter, like I wouldn't say stats, but rankings after they made that selection. This was the number 1 punter in the draft, so that could be impactful. The easy answer is Jahdae Barron. He was the 1st round pick. That usually is going to be the most impactful player you had. It sure was last year for Denver when they got Bo Nix in round 1 out of Oregon. And we'll look at the most impactful rookies Denver has had over the past 5 seasons. And a good chunk of them have come early in the draft. Bo Nix. 2023 was tough. None of them were super impactful, but I'm not going to say Drew Sanders, so I guess it's Marvin Mims. Damari Mathis in 2022. They didn't have a 1st round pick that year, but he started the most games out of anyone in that rookie class, if memory serves correct. So I went with him. Pat Surtain, a no doubter in 2021. In 2020, I went with Cushenberry. However, mid-video, I could change my mind to Jerry Jeudy. I mean, the two both played a lot as rookies. Cushenberry started every single game at center as a 3rd round pick. Jeudy was not, unimpactful as a rookie, but for the 15th overall pick, you probably had a little bit higher expectations for him coming off a Biletnikoff Award-winning season at Alabama. So you could swap that out, but the point being is not every year the 1st round pick is going to be the most impactful player for a team. So let me know who you think that's going to be from this draft class. Now, if you think it's going to be Jahdae Barron, make sure you get yourself an awesome Broncos jersey right now for the rookie at chatsports.com/Barron. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. So if you want to get some Broncos rookie gear, check out chatsports.com/Barron. It's a great way to support the channel as well. Now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about another player from this draft class, and that is RJ Harvey, the 2nd round pick out of UCF, and hopefully the answer to Denver's quest for a long-term running back. Bleacher Report, I thought, had a really insightful look at Harvey as a player, saying, Harvey is a patient runner who attacks/presses the line of scrimmage with intent. He is a lane changer who can pivot and find alternative routes out of the backfield if the design lane is clogged. Harvey possesses lateral agility and burst to execute jump cuts from one gap to another. He can press the interior run lanes and lateral cut to the B and C gaps. So could Harvey immediately waltz into the Broncos training camp as the team's number 1 running back? I'm going to push back on that a little bit, and it's not because I'm picking on Harvey. It's because that's not how most rookies start off with teams, right? They have to work their way up the depth chart. Bo Nix did not even have the first team snaps his first go at training camp. They rotated between Stidham and Zach Wilson. And I don't expect it to be much different for Harvey as he joins a running back room that's pretty young, but still they all have, infinite more snaps and games in the NFL than Harvey does this up until this point. So Harvey is a 5'9", 208-pound back who's got some good violence to his game. Athletically, he's not one of the most gifted athletes from this class at the position, but he's also not a slowpoke and not someone who carries a bunch of bad weight. He's a middle-of-the-pack type of player. But the thing you got to know the most about him, I'd say, is the aggressiveness, the aggression he carries, and, well, we didn't see a lot of it at UCF, the pass receiving upside that he's got to his game. So hopefully Denver can hit on both those parts for Harvey because they need just an in-between-the-tackles type of back. They need someone that on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, they can count on to go out and get the first down. Did not have that last year. I would love for Harvey to fill that void of 3rd and 3. We want to keep the ball. We want to chew some clock up. And we want to end this game in victory formation and not have to punt it back to the opposition because we couldn't pick up a first, which happened down the stretch last season. That's where I want to see Harvey stand out and excel in the most. So last year for the Knights, he was number 1 in yards per carry in the Big 12 ahead of a couple of our good running backs, right? DJ Giddens, Cam Skattebo, a 4th-round pick, Devin, Neal, a 3rd or 4th-round pick. So there were a lot of good backs coming out last year that Harvey, excelled and was on top of the mountain from. So overall, there's still some work to be done here. He's a weird-ish prospect. On one hand, he's not young. He played, first off, 1 year at Virginia. Then he transfers to UCF. He doesn't even get a scholarship to begin with. Josh Heupel, who is now the Tennessee coach, promised him one, and Heupel did him a solid because Heupel then left for Tennessee, and right before he left, he put Harvey on scholarship. But he started for 2 seasons there. He did suffer a knee injury halfway through his collegiate career, so that might be a tiny medical concern for teams, but I feel that there is still some coaching that has to be done here. I don't view him as a running back that can step into training camp and be as close as you can come to being a finished product when it comes to rookies going to the pros. But Javonte Williams off to the Cowboys, and that leaves McLaughlin, Estime, and Bidet as your top 3 backs returning on this roster. And I feel that Denver was trying to get Javonte going in the receiving game a lot last year. I mean, he was second on the team in receptions, and that really did not take off as well as they would have liked. So I wouldn't be shocked if they put some of that on Harvey's plate, knowing they tried to do it with Pookie, and it just wasn't quite there. Now, one comp that has been tossed out there a bunch that I thought you guys might get a kick out of is MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, longtime Jacksonville Jaguars running back. So if he is even just 80 to 90% of MJ, is MJD a future Hall of Famer? He's right there. Hall of Very Good. Not the Hall of Fame, though. So if he's just 80% of a Hall of Very Good player, for pick 60 in the draft, I think we'd all take that 9 times out of 10. So when it's at the end of the year, how many yards or how many touchdowns for RJ Harvey? Let me know down in the comment section below. Greatly appreciate all of you who tune into our coverage and hang out with us for all the NFL draft and now the days following suit. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe down below, click that thumbs up button, and I'll see everyone next time.